Welcome to the Charter Township of Comstock Board Meeting, Monday, December 15th, 2025. This meeting is now called to order. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
I have I'd like to add 2 items to the agenda tonight. Under trustee.
What would you like to add?
One on a recent circuit court ruling involving the township, or I should say a member of the board of the township. And the second is a response in part to some comments that were made at the last meeting by the supervisor.
Be looking for a motion with the changes as presented,
So
unless there's others.
Strike that first motion, and I will do a new one. So I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving along to public comments. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor, and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you'll be making statements to the board without discussion from board members, but you're welcome to make an appointment with the supervisor or superintendent to discuss your comments further. Their contact information is located by the door. Please keep comments clean and respectful.
Hi, Tammy Keeler, Celery Street. I just handed you guys something that was written to me by Bob Sherwood. And all I did was post the meeting on there. It's Tammy Cole. If you speak, it doesn't even come close to the truth. You know you have proof, but you haven't produced it yet. I do not have to prove it to nobody but what's up there on that board. The only way anyone will hear the truth on the 15th is if you and your group don't speak. He is trying to take away the First Amendment rights of me and my friends and other people. I want him removed from the board. And plus, he's been talking about the battery plant and everything else. And we do have proof of that. When somebody gets up here else to speak, they have that proof. He was ordered by the attorney not to talk about that or soil friends. And so far, we have proof of most of that. But when he tries to take away my First Amendment right, I'm telling him to step down. He has no right. That is a threat to me and my group. And what's going on right now, like I said, there's only 3 people up there on that board that I trust, and I still trust them. But as far as Bob Sherwood, I think he ought to be removed from the Planning Commission board, just for that statement. Like I said, he's always posting stuff about the battery plant and everything else when he was told not to. He should have no decision in this at all. So do with this what you want, but I think he ought to be removed from the Planning Commission board. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Please just a reminder, no comments from the crowd during others' when they're at the podium. Thank you.
Jonica Cameron. As much as I don't want to, I feel it's imperative to address some of the issues that have transpired due to the second set of recalls in our township. Josh has been a part of our family since our grandson was born 23 years ago. I'm shocked how everyone practically lost their minds trying to figure out who he was. He lives in our home, the address was there. We pay our taxes, and it is easy to see who owns the property. Posting screenshots identifying his ex-wife, who doesn't even reside in Michigan, and the names of 2 of his children is unconscionable. Running a background check? Seriously. Sending threatening messages to his phone and then deleting them? People went to an awful lot of work to get old information. I don't believe William Knight was subjected to that kind of scrutiny when he filed recall papers on other board members. Should a background report have been done on him? Of course not. These sorts of actions are a large part of why the recall petition is even being filed. The divisive atmosphere, the unfounded allegations, the name calling were not a part of our meetings before this board took office. Board members have been accused of lining their pockets, etc. Accusers have said they have proof, but none of the proof has ever been brought forth. If you have proof and are withholding it, does not that make you complicit? We have members of our boards in the audience making gagging motions when someone of another opinion gets up to speak. That certainly speaks well for our township. You're entitled to your opinion, but so is everyone else. It's not necessary to be rude and judgmental of others. I know you maintain you were being yelled at. You weren't. Just trying to be heard above the noise of the crowd. I know I won't convince you, but I feel it needs to be said nonetheless. You're representing our township as a member of one of our boards. Do better. Board members who try to do their due diligence and address matters are maligned, their integrity questioned, and they are asked to step down. Trustee Pratt attempted to look into attorney expenditures as there were concerns, but he was verbally attacked over this. The fact that 3 of our board members, Trustee Amos, Supervisor Martin, and Treasurer Bloomfield, did not even bother to read the Clark Hill report where many legal expenses arose is telling. How can you vote and give your opinion on something if you haven't read the report? How do you know that money spent was unwarranted if you didn't read the report? Trustee Amos said it was too long, about 50 to 60 pages, so he scanned it. If you don't have time to read a report about an issue impacting our township, do you have time to serve on our board? There's part that you were elected to do. Trustee Amos, you also were incensed and claimed in all your years on the board you had never seen a board reject a supervisor's recommendation for an appointment. Yet I attended a meeting of the previous board when a recommendation was made by the supervisor that was vetoed by you. Trustee Cherry is vilified for having an opinion if it doesn't align with certain agendas, as are trustees McIver and Pratt and also Clerk Beauchamp. It is disingenuous to say they don't listen to the people. This divisive group is not all of the people. It's a very vocal group that seems to push their agenda with misinformation and intimidation. These adults are exhibiting bullying behavior.
Thank you, ma'am.
Believe in hope.
Hello, my name is Jessica Vetter. I live at 6869 East H Avenue. Right now, my property is in the middle of, we just went through a zoning committee issue. They want to rezone the 20 and a half acres that surrounds my 10 acres to multifamily homes, putting 120, 130 condominiums there and putting streets out onto East H Avenue and 28th Street, which would be incredibly dangerous. A lot of people want to know some of the reasons why over 200 of my neighbors have signed a petition saying that this is not something that we want. One of the major reasons is there's a very large difference between building homes that people can invest in and have pride in, slowly selling those acreages, having homes go up, and having the neighborhood get acclimated to the traffic, as opposed to 120, 30 homes going up all at once and all of that traffic hitting at once. It is very nerve-wracking considering I have 2 small children, and the amount of times that I have heard crashes outside of my house while I'm feeding my children in the middle of the night, where I have to run out into the street to call 911 because there's a rollover. I can't even count, it's like 5 at this point. That being said, I know there will be a vote to this board about this. Redwood has said that no traffic study should be done, and that was extremely disheartening to me, and I took great offense to it, considering it's our neighborhood, it's where we live, where our children play, and I strongly believe that that should happen. I also, as a newer member of the community, have been watching closely. Again, I have 2 small children, so I can't always attend things, and I don't always like to say a lot, but I've been watching for a long time, and I'm extremely embarrassed for all of you, to be perfectly honest. And I don't think that this is something that you all should be deciding for us. All 7 of you are up for recall. I don't know a lot of you. I certainly don't trust you. Just from outside looking in and watching, your conduct is frankly very embarrassing. And I just don't think that you all have it in you right now to focus on our issue. It's a very large issue. You have a lot of tumultuous things going on in your own board. And I think it should be tabled until after the recalls, until after we know if any of the board members will be up for recall. If they are, until after that May election, when we know who will be on the board, things are a little bit more stable. You have more time to look at all of the reports that took me, as a stay-at-home mom, with a little bit of time on my hands, a long time to go through. All of the traffic studies that Redwood did not have any kind of density of our neighborhood, did not look anything like it. I think you need to spend a lot more time on this than the couple of weeks that they're giving you, and I just think you have a lot more going on, and this should be tabled or at least pushed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. As the superintendent of Comstock Public Schools, I write to you on behalf of the district's Board of Education, its students, families, administration, and staff. It is my understanding that tonight you have on your agenda a second reading for proposed ordinance governing, in part, the location of a battery energy storage system, or BESS. Within this ordinance is a critically important feature, a 2,000-foot setback. Some months ago, a Danish company named Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, or CIP, proposed to build a battery energy storage system adjacent to the construction site of our new STEM Academy and close to Comstock Elementary School. In May 2025, the district commissioned a third-party study conducted by CTC Engineering of Ann Arbor to evaluate the proposed location of the BESS and its potential danger to the district. The study reported that the BESS should be no closer than 1 mile to any school. Acting on this report, on August 25th, 2025, the Comstock Public Schools Board voted unanimously to oppose the BESS in its original proposed location. After thoughtful consideration and community input, the Township Council's Planning Commission, in consultation and collaboration with the Moratorium Committee, drafted the currently proposed BESS ordinance. As a part of the process for creation of this ordinance, CIP considered 3 or 4 other alternative locations for the site. South, with only one viable, south of the STEM Academy construction site. The currently proposed 2,000-foot setback would only permit the secondary site for the BESS's future location. The site first proposed next to the STEM Academy would be eliminated by the setback, and I urge the council to approve the proposed BESS ordinance tonight, given this important public safety consideration. While BESS offers some environmental and economic advantages, BESS also poses significant safety, environmental, and operational risks and must be managed carefully to prevent harm to people, property, and ecosystems. I ask the Township Council to join with our school district and approve the proposed BESS ordinance with a minimum of 2,000-foot setback for our students, for our community, and our future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Johnson. I live on Country Meadows Drive. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply disappointed in the Planning Commission's sudden reversal on the proposed rezoning for the Redwood development. At the November 13th meeting, multiple commissioners stated clearly that this parcel was not appropriate for this type of development. Residents filled the room, raising concerns about traffic, safety, neighborhood character, environmental impact, and consistency with the master plan. Concerns also reflected in the staff report. Nothing in the underlying facts has changed since that meeting. What changed was simply their vote. It is troubling that after overwhelming opposition, dozens of speakers, more than 100 petition signatures, and extensive written comments, the commission moved from not a good fit to approval. That shift sends a message that the residents' input is secondary. I also want to address a key justification being used to support the rezoning. The claim that apartments generate less traffic than single-family homes. That is only true in walkable or transit-served areas. This site is neither. In a semi-rural, car-dependent location like ours, residents must drive nearly every trip. Using lower apartment traffic standards assumptions here is not supported by transportation planning standards and underestimates real impacts. Density without walkability does not reduce traffic, it concentrates it. The reality is that the landowners are seeking maximum value for their property. That is their right, but it's not the community's obligation to absorb the long-term impacts of a dense rental complex that does not align with surrounding owner-occupied neighborhoods or the master plan. This decision now rests with you, the Township Board. You have the responsibility to listen to your residents, uphold the master plan, and reject a rezoning that does not fit this specific property. And I urge you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further comments this evening? With that, we'll be moving along to announcements for departments, boards, and commissions. Commissioner, do you have anything for us this evening?
Always do. Thank you, Ben. Excuse me. I'm John Gisler. I'm the county commissioner for 5 of the 15 rural townships in the county. And it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight. I have just a few things to mention to you. One, you may have seen that there was a proclamation on declaring housing a public health crisis, and I was the lone no vote. We've already spent in the last 3 years over $25 million on the housing millage. I don't see why making it a public health crisis is going to do anything other than put some more paper to shame with ink on it. So I voted no. The battery energy storage system that you guys first brought to my attention, I didn't even know what that was months ago. And now I just found out, and I think I copied you, Ben, on the University of Michigan sponsored battery energy storage system paper. I think it's 38 or 39 pages. It's a long thing. I have not read it yet, but I've been distributing it to all the supervisors in my 5 townships, and I think it's probably going to be distributed to the others at the supervisors meeting next week. Pardon me. Keep your ear to the ground. You're going to be hearing more and more about child care. It was highly mentioned at Citizens Time at our last county commission meeting, and it's going to come up again and again and again, I think. There are several, county commissioners that, are eager to do something about child care. And it's not that, we don't have to do anything about it, but it would be nice. The one thing I draw the line on is if kids don't get to pick their own parents. So if child care is important, let's do what we can to take care of it. But I'm not ready to deal with it at this point. So the talk is trying to push to, somebody called me the other day and said, I understand on the May ballot there's going to be a child care millage. I said, I'm sorry, no. There are people that would like that, but it's a long way from that yet. It may get closer because sometimes you feel like you're the only voice in the forest. And childcare is going to be a hot issue, almost as hot as battery energy storage systems now are. So stay tuned. And I will tell you this, that same thing that I sent to you and other supervisors, Ben, if somebody wants to contact me at my personal email, I'll be happy to forward that to them. It's substantial, and I've had a couple of people look at it that know a lot more about energy than I do, and they said this is really a good piece of work, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions from any board members? Thank you. Moving along to the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes from December 1st, 2025 special board meeting, approval of minutes from December 1st, 2025 regular board meeting, bills payable December 16th, 2025, the Everbridge renewal, budget adjustments, the 2026 water fund budget, 2026 sewer fund budget, as well as the 2026 DDA budget. Be looking for a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I make
Go ahead.
a motion that we approve the consent agenda for December 15th, 2025.
Support.
Motion made by trustee Pratt, supported by trustee Cherry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Moving along through presentations, through business, and into fire and rescue for Station 9-3 presentation.
All right, good evening. We've been long and eagerly awaiting to make our presentation on the new station or replacement station 9-3. Today we have a presentation for the latest design process that we've been working on for the station. Latest architects we've been working with is JPR. Our plan tonight is to review what we have to date and then at a minimum wait until the next board meeting to request moving forward with the architectural plans. So we're not actually looking to move forward with the station, the big dollar amount today, but it's the architectural plans, but there is finances involved. So we wanted to have a little bit of time to digest what we got and decide if it's appropriate next board meeting to move forward with the architect. We've completed phase 1 with the architect. We're now into phase 2, or pending approval, into phase 2, which is architectural drawing and construction documents. And then phase 3 would be construction administration. As I mentioned, we want to be sure that there's support with the station, at least what we know to date, to move forward with spending money on the architectural funds for the next portion. Once the plans are developed, we would then plan on go out to bid, and that would be obviously be pending board approval. So a little history. The department responded from 2 stations until 2001 when the current station 9-3 on East Michigan was built. Responded from the central station on Comstock Ave, and if you look closely, you can see it over the river. It's now the site of our firefighters memorial. Once that new station was relocated on River Street closer to the business loop. Station 9-2, which is on H Avenue, was demolished in 2014, rebuilt. So we're still operating out of that station. The east station, or what's now called Station 9-3, was built to serve the east half of the township, as the other 2 stations were on the western edge of the township. And we do have a lot of navigating with bridges, rivers, highways to justify, the need to have our stations placed where they are. For our current Station 9-3, land was donated from Watts Construction adjacent to the Comstock Commerce Park, and the station was actually built under budget. Watts Construction continues to be great partners with the fire department and the community. The station at the time, we felt it was the right thing to do as there was growth going on the east side, and we honestly, we just couldn't serve it well enough. It was current 9-3 was initially built as a satellite station. We know that someday the station would be staffed with at least 1 person. By the time that the station was constructed, it was deemed necessary to staff it with the firefighter, and that was a little premature from what we originally planned. Additionally, that station housed our training room until the new Station 9-1 on River Street was built. It was pretty tight navigating during those years. We have had this new Station 9-3 on our capital plan for over 10 years now. Now that has settled on some other major purchases, such as our Station 9-2 has been paid off, we have our apparatus in line to be paid off, we feel that the timing is right to start planning this. The fire department, the township, owns the land further east of current 9-3 at an address of 10080 East Michigan, which is between Western Breed and what's now Best One Tire. And it's a nearly 3-acre parcel. In 2018, we sold, with approval from the board, 3 parcels in the township that were designated a future fire station to purchase what's now our proposed site for new 9-3. And by adding in, I believe it was $2,500, we broke even. So we did pretty good selling those three parcels off. 2 of which end up building houses on them and, are a tax base for us. In 2022, we worked with Redstone Architects to design Station 9-3. We were getting ready to present and determined by looking at our capital outlay that it wasn't the right time because we were going to have a pretty significant gap before we buy another apparatus because the station was going to occupy some big funds. So what we decided to do was to put the station on hold, purchase an aerial apparatus, and let the station lie for a little bit. The time has come where the aerials will be here. We're slated to pick it up in mid-February. And we have one last installment purchase on a 3-year installment purchase program, which is will be on next year's budget. Early this year, we renewed engagement on the project, hired JPR Architects to refresh the last design. We worked with 8 department members to look at other fire stations, to see what was the latest, greatest out there for technology and construction, to be sure that we're building something not only for today, but for at least 50 years out. So that is a little bit of the background, and I'd like to bring up Captain Mike Muehlman to make the actual station presentation. Mike is actually currently our acting assistant chief. He's one of our candidates interested in that position. So he has been on the committee, worked with us, so he's going to make the presentation on the station. Once he's done, I'm going to come back up and talk budget. And then we'll bring probably Brett up as well to go over some finance options. So Mike.
All right. Thank you for having me tonight to present this to you guys. I'm excited about it, and the department's put in a lot of work on this, and hopefully this serves us for 50 years into the future now. Next one. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So right now, the fire department's reached the point where its current facilities no longer meet the operational, safety, and staffing needs of this growing township. Stations 1 and 3 are landlocked and they're undersized, with the infrastructure and layouts designed for a much smaller department. As our call volumes rise and 24-hour staffing increases, providing safe, functional, and equitable living and working spaces has become a pressing necessity for our department. These are our current stations right now, as Chief Beauchamp stated. We have one on 1960 River Street. That's staffed with 3 people. 24/7, 365 days a year. 9-2 is at 5947 East H Avenue, and that's staffed with 2 personnel, same thing, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And then the proposed station that we would like to replace is Station 9-3, that's at 8700 East Michigan Avenue. There's 2 personnel currently working out of that station, same thing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So currently we have 15 full-time operational staff. Those people work 48-hour shifts, so they're at the station for 48 hours. The time there, they live, work, train, and they eat there, and they also rest there. Being 48-hour shifts, we have time to rest, and there's time to sleep at night too when we're not running calls and serving the community. The stations are like a second home to our personnel. So they have a home with their family, and they come in and we're a second family at another station. We treat these stations like a home. Hopefully a lot of the stations have good amenities like kitchens where we can prepare our own meals. They have places to rest and places to work. The second part to our department is we have 30 part-time paid-on-call members. Most of those members work full-time jobs somewhere else, and then they devote their off time from that job to work for the community. They they work shifts also. That can be anywhere from 8 hours to full 48 hours like the full-time staff. Our crews are in the station working, doing paperwork, training, working out, learning, as long as they're not running calls, going through businesses, pre-planning them. Pre-planning is we go to businesses just to make sure we know what's there and if we have an incident there, where we need to go and what needs to be done at that business. We do a lot of training. We're a train-heavy department, so right now, our training facilities at our stations is quite small, so sometimes we have to go off-site, sometimes even out of township to train. With a new station, there's a proposed training area to that would keep us in township and closer to our citizens and better coverage area for our township. We have admin staff, so there's 3 chiefs. You know, the chiefs work each at a separate station. There's one at Station 1, one at Station 2, and one at Station 3. So our operational efficiency with those chiefs is not very good right now. If we need to meet and have a meeting, it's either a phone call or we have to take time to drive to that station, which is fuel costs and time out of our day. The fire marshal, who does code enforcement and community outreach, works with the schools. He works out of Station 3, so anytime we have to meet with him or he needs to do something, that's a lot of moving parts to get that done. Next is the executive administrative assistant. She works doing secretarial work for all 3 of the chiefs, and then she also does some relief duty for the township hall personnel as well, when directed by the superintendent. She's also located at Station 3, which, again, as Chief Beauchamp stated, was originally built for one person to be there 24 hours a day. So now we're up to almost 5 people at that station during business hours, and then 2 24 hours a day. Go ahead. This is a chart of our call volume over the last 10 years. So as you can see, in 2015, we were around 1,500 calls per year. And now this year we're projected to be well over 2,500 calls. So that's a good reason for our staffing. We're out of the station all the time. We're working a lot of calls. We need personnel to cover all these calls and cover the township. So 1960 River Street is our first station. A couple pictures there of our bedroom. Our staff consists of males and females. So these males and females will be on site together, living and working in this station together. Right now, there's only one true bedroom in this station, and there's one true shower in that station that's located in a bathroom in that bedroom. That can create some liability if one person doesn't know another person's taking a shower and accidentally walks into the room, or changing needs. There's only really one true bedroom that's locked down so people can get into. There is a day room, which we call kind of like a living room at home, but that's where the crew can kind of sit and relax and meet together. We actually converted that room into a second bedroom. So that second picture there with the recliners, that's actually the second bedroom for them. So during the day, the crew can mingle in there and do tabletop training and talk, but at night, it's also somebody's bedroom. So it's got to transition from that. Or if someone would like to take a rest during the day after a long call or a strenuous call, it's also a place where everybody else can meet and has access to. The third bedroom at that station, because that station now covers 3 people, was an office, and now it's converted to a bedroom instead of an office. The top picture is that third bedroom. As you can see, there's still a desk in it, and I'm sure some of the guys still do their work in that room. Also, our offices are located right next to our bedrooms and our apparatus area. So if there's some crew members that are trying to take some downtime or study or something like that in their bedroom to kind of have some peaceful time, if other crew members are working, it's very disturbing to hear all that noise if they're outside working on the apparatus, or if someone's in an office and the printer's running or typing or something along those lines. Here's the footprint of Station 9-1 on River Street. As you can see, it's landlocked on all sides. River Street on the east, Consumers Easement on the south, Bailey Excavation to the west, and then a private residence to the north. We have no room to make this station any bigger. As of right now, this is where our classroom is. In the parking lot, if we have a full classroom, we're actually having people park down the street at Bailey Excavating, and then they have to walk down River Street, which some classes end 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's pretty dark in that area if anybody's driven through it. It's pretty dangerous for people to be walking up and down the street. And we only have limited space at training for this. We have a mezzanine, and we've built a kind of a small training room, but it really doesn't meet the realistic needs that we need to serve the community. This is Station 93 on 8700 East Michigan, the proposed one. This station, like Chief Beauchamp said, was originally designed to have one person there 24 hours a day. Now we're running 2 people, and we have admin staff there. And this station, again, only has 1 true bedroom. The other bedroom in there was converted from, which was originally a fitness center, converted to a day room, and now is a bedroom. The shower with this station is located inside that bedroom, which creates the same liabilities as Station 1. The kitchen in the station is very small. It's only meant for maybe 1-2 people. It will only fit a table for 2 personnel. So during shift change hours or upstaff times, there's no room for crews to sit and talk and train, table talk, prepare their meals or anything along those lines. As I said, the fitness room was converted into a bedroom, so we had to move the fitness room up into the mezzanine of this station. With that, workout equipment is heavy, and so now we're at a weight constraint on that mezzanine where we can't place any more equipment up there, any more weight, because the engineers came in and said, this is the max limit that you can put in there. That workout room is also above all the offices and bedrooms, so now people are upstairs working out, disturbing people doing their other work during the day. Right. Here's a couple pictures of the kitchen. As you can see, it's very small. There's one little table over there that fits 2 people. And again, it's very undersized, and the only common area for this is the kitchen for crews to get together and talk about calls, train, and get to know each other. Good. This is the mezzanine. The top picture is the mezzanine. Right now, we have to store our gear outside in these hanging lockers. Turnout gear for firefighters is meant to be stored when not in use in kind of a dark area. If it gets direct sunlight or gases, emissions from vehicles, it deteriorates faster. So us having to store our gear out like this, a lot of people keep them in those yellow totes, but some of the guys hang them out. It gets to the sunlight and gases, which deteriorates our gear faster, which is more money in the long run, because now we have to renew our gear shorter than the 10-year period. I think that's it for that. Go ahead. This is the apparatus bay at Station 3. It only has 2. And as you can see from the pictures, it's very packed. So if the admin staff is there and both apparatus are parked there, there's no room to train, work out in the apparatus bay, or add anything to that. The bottom line with this station is this station houses more people and equipment than it was ever designed for, resulting in overcrowding, compromised privacy, and growing operational inefficiencies. Right. So this is Station 3. It's landlocked by a private owner, private residence. I believe to the southwest, it's a welding company, and then we have Kalamazoo Flower Group behind us. And again, there's no training room at this place. The area we have to train is the apparatus bay in the parking lot in the back right there. So our intended results with this is, increase firefighter wellness, decrease the liability on the township, and increase the community coverage. And we want to improve and equalize our response times with that. By moving the station further east, it helps us get to that east side of the township a lot easier and a lot faster. This station also promotes future growth. We're not planning for tomorrow, we're planning for the next 50 years. This is the proposed site plan picture for the township, or the new fire station. So this is the new station layout. There's 4 main areas. There's a administration area, crew living area, apparatus bay, and what we call a training and fitness area. The station's designed to improve response times, enhance health and wellness, reduce liability, and provides adequate space for future growth. Inclusion of an on-site training tower further strengthens operational readiness for us while reducing ongoing training costs. Go ahead, next one. This is the apparatus bay. It's 5 bays that gives us adequate space to park our apparatus and any growing thing coming up in the future. Fire engines and fire apparatus are growing every day. We need to carry many specialized tools and equipment now. It's just not hoses and water and a couple axes. We have all kinds of things. On the west side of this bay area, there's a tool shop, equipment storage, hose drying area, and room for our filling and working on our self-contained breathing apparatus. Currently, with all this stuff, we keep it in the apparatus bay with all the engines and all the equipment, and it gets bumped into, it gets dropped, it gets misplaced. This gives us organization to keep better track of our equipment in designated areas. Also, would be the southwest corner of this is our training tower. This training tower allows us to more and better opportunities for training. While we are not able to have live fire in this training tower, we are able to flow water and practice hose movements and those type of things. We based the design of this tower to mimic apartment buildings and hotels in Comstock Township. This will give us realistic training scenarios. The tower will also be set up for our technical rescue disciplines that we train in: rope rescue, confined space, structural collapse, hazmat, and trench rescue. This training tower paired with open mezzanine area, which is I'll show in the next picture, we'll cover, I cover in a later slide, will expand our training opportunities and let us stay in our response area. And it also benefits, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Nazareth Training Tower. There's a large training tower on Nazareth between East Michigan and East Maine. A lot of times we have to go there to do our training, which isn't far out of the township, but it still takes us out of the township. And we are members of that, but we also have to pay to use that facility. And then there's a lot of scheduling conflicts for that. So if we need to train and another department's already reserve that, we can't go there and train. They usually only let one department train there at a time. So this training tower gives us the opportunity to stay in township and have more opportunities to train. This is the administration area. It's got offices for all of our administration staff, so it consolidates us down into one area instead of having to travel around for stations. It also has a smaller conference room. That smaller conference room can be used for training for our officers, our chiefs, and our department. There is a training room that we'll show you there. We also use that training room for the County Fire Academy, CPR classes for the community, car seat safety classes, and various fire trainings from outside departments will come in and train with us, and we use that for that. This could also be used as a polling place for future elections. Let me see. This secondary conference room gives us an area where if we have something being used in the training room, we can train as a department there. There's also area to store uniforms in this. Right now, we're storing our uniforms with our turnout gear, which gives cross-contamination. So we keep a lot of uniforms for members that it hasn't been assigned to yet. So if we damage uniforms or it gets dirty or it gets contaminated by blood or whatever else we need, we have uniforms on the ready. That's stored with our turnout gear, and some of that turnout gear is used. It is washed, but we can cross-contaminate that gear. So now we're putting all those bad things from the fire on our clothes that we wear every day and take home to our families. Big thing on this one is we also included room, go back one, Scott, sorry. We also included room there for an office for the sheriff's department. This will help keep a deputy more in the township. It keeps their response times down for us, and it allows for community engagement with a deputy when they're at the station. On to staff living areas. This living area is designed to keep crew continuity while maintaining adequate space for work and rest. It also provides space for upstaffing during times of need and future growth. There's 6 bedrooms and 3 full baths, which knocks down that liability of having one bathroom shared between cross-gender or multiple gender living area. We put in large, easy access corridors from the living room to the apparatus bay. That helps with us getting from the living area out to the apparatus bay, which lowers response times, which gets us out to the community faster. The kitchen and day rooms are large enough to accommodate all crew members on shift and during shift change times. Good. The last section of this is our community and training space. So moving the classroom to the new station opens up the opportunity for us to repurpose the classroom at Station 1 to a bedroom, locker room, and a full bathroom, which limits the liability on the fire department in the township. Also, this is a larger classroom that will accommodate more students. The new station will have more and better accessible parking. We also worked with Clerk Beauchamp on this to set up the classroom to be used as a polling station for elections. So there's 2 ways in, and there's one way in and one way out. There's also going to be close access handicap spots so people can reach it easier, and it gives good and ample space to line up for elections to keep room there. We've also put in another smaller conference room that can be used for small group training, and we also have an EMS simulator room. EMS medical scenes are a big thing with us, so we've worked to up our medical equipment, and up our skills in EMS so we can better serve the community. The kitchenette area on that classroom also provides an area for snacks and food for long trainings or for when the election workers are there all day long. They have to stay at the polling station, so it gives them place to access to take a break for a second, grab a snack, cool down for a minute, and come back out and finish their work. There's also a large fitness area included in this area. It's adjacent to the living quarters for the crew, which is good now because if I have somebody working out and they have an emergency while working out or get hurt while working out, the crew's right there to see them. Where currently our workout facilities are on the second floor with no windows where we might not be able to see that person. We just have to think, oh, they've been gone for a long time. We're gonna have to go check on them. Go ahead, Scott. This is back out to the full layout as you can see at the station. Go ahead. So this is the second floor area. There's really not much up here. The one on the left, which is going to be the west end, is mainly the second and third floor of the tower and some open training area built in for us. We've built in some props that help with those disciplines like rope rescue, our search and rescue training, and our fire training in that area. There's also an area to store the air compressors up there. If anybody's heard an air compressor run, it's very loud and distracting, hurts your ears, all that kind of stuff. We've designed a room to put that air compressor upstairs to make it quieter and the rest of the station to work. There is a east mezzanine that's for storage and just HVAC area. Go ahead. So this is the 180 East Michigan where the site is. As Chief Beauchamp says, it's between Western Breed and what is now Best One Tire. There's some pictures of the lot there, and then there's a map of where it is. What's that? So again, Chief Beauchamp talked about selling properties to acquire this one. You can see in the blue, those are the sold properties. We had one at ML and 28th, HJ and 33rd, and then one just off 35th Street, just north of the river there. The yellow dot is where the new station would be, and then the red dots are our current stations. The closest red dot to the yellow dot is the current Station 3. We're moving roughly a mile to a mile and a half down the road. Good. So why now? Facilities no longer meet the operational safety needs for us. Growing staff levels cannot be supported. Current layouts. Improving and rebalancing response times is essential to our resident safety. And early investment prevents cost increases later. This is an opportunity to modernize with an efficient and consolidated design. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
But I guess Chief Beauchamp could answer.
What's that?
I just had a couple of questions.
Sure. Is it, I can answer it or I can bring Mike back up. Mike, why don't you come up just in case, if it's difficult, you can answer it.
No, I don't have difficult questions. You should know that by now. No, it's just how many, so I know this is growth over like 50 years is what you guys are anticipating, but over like, say, the next 3 to 5 years, how many people are going to be staffed there?
So, like, at the time of build, if everything goes well, and let's just say we were to start breaking ground next year, we would have the 2 operational positions that we have currently, and then we would be 3 chief officers, fire marshal, and executive administrative assistant.
So just moving from the 9-3 now to that one?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the current 9-3 now would move over, plus we would bring the 2 chief officers that we don't have room for today, would go there as well. So with this, there's no proposed to increase staffing or anything today. We're just able to do that.
What is the plan for the old 9-3?
We'd like to sell it. And in fact, we're going to talk about budget here in a sec.
Okay.
We did not include that on our plans as a worst case scenario because we truly don't know till we sell it. We have an idea. We know that we paid $550,000 for it or just over that. We did come in under budget what they planned on. It fits the area. The building fits the area really well. We've had more than one entity come and say, hey, when I hear you're moving, when can we go? Is it on the market yet? So nothing, set in play. So once we get to a certain point, we'd like to get a market value analysis to see where it would go, but we're not planning on that with our plans today. So we have certainty of what we're getting, and then if we were to interject what we receive from that, it would help with our capital outlay to reduce it down the road.
Okay.
But we would sell it and, hopefully somebody would be a business and be another taxpayer in the community.
Okay, and I think I just have one more question, because the bays look like it's gonna house quite a few apparatuses, is that correct?
Yeah, so there'd be no increase in fleet, right now. We do have at the River Street Station, so one of the things that Mike talked about was converting the training room over to living quarters for current staff. We also have apparatus back to back there. So that station, the apparatus bay is really big there, but it's a lot of back to back movement going on. So when we moved our traffic unit after our crashes last year down there, now we have back to back apparatus, and we'd like to free up that real estate to make them drive through again.
Okay.
So we'd just be shuffling apparatus to the new site is the plan.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that's about it for now.
Not so bad.
See?
Any other questions on the station design or the parcel information before we get into the budget portion of it? And Brett, do they have that? All right, so our current Station 9-3 did serve us very well at the time. It was a right fit, it was cost right, and it helped get us to where we're at today. It's just time to expand and go, and we feel that, and we really don't have an option to invest there. In 2022, we worked with Redstone, as I mentioned, and we had the station, about the same size we're proposing now, was $11.5 to $12 million. That's been on our capital improvement plan for 3 years now. So we revisited this year with JPR, a different architect firm, and the same station between then and now is proposed to be $15.5 million. Just in that amount of time. So we worked down and go, hey, we got to get this down already. So we came up with $13.5 million. We feel like we're in line for what's going on. For reference, Kalamazoo Township just broke ground on a new station on Gull Road. That's replacing their Eastwood station on East Main between just west of Nazareth Road. And they're paying $11.3 million for that station. And they didn't need the size of the station to what we're doing, but based on what we're trying to do here, we're in line with what our neighbors, what we're seeing on the market trends, so we know where we're at. We could get by with a smaller station, but I think that we're going to end up paying more later on to add on to it, and might as well do it right now is our plan. So I talked about current Station 9-3. Brett, can you go over the budget sheet? I think you probably described this better than I could.
Absolutely. Good evening. So I handed you a couple of spreadsheets. So the chief asked me to go over some borrowing options for bonds, similar to what we did for the sewer lift station. Originally, we talked about 20, 25, or 30 years on the bonds, but because of how well the numbers came in, he asked me to look at 15 years, and that's actually the first sheet on there. So the chief's plan, as of right now, with the current capital, is to put $2 million down on whatever the final cost might be. So we estimated that we would be financing $11.5 million, and that's the same on every sheet. You'll see the duration goes from 15 to 30. A very conservative estimate on the interest rate. Those are actually trending downward, so we'll probably get a lower interest rate. But just to preface this, none of these numbers will be known until we actually put the bonds out for bid to a bank and see what they offer. The conservative estimate is 4.25% interest with an annual bond payment of just over $1 million. Total interest paid about $4.2 million. And the reason it's ideal to bond for the station is if you were to, let's say, take 15 years to save up and pay for the station, the cost is going to be well over that $4.2 million more at the time. So even though you're paying $4.2 million in interest, you're actually saving money if you were to save up and pay cash for the station. So on the sheet, you can see some columns there. I took it out to 2041, which would be the full length of the 15-year bond. And every year, if you look at the bottom line, the projected fund balance is above zero. That's taking into account the bond payment, the chief's CIP plan, all the planned purchases along the way, including 3 additional engines. And this is just to show that a 15-year bond with that kind of a bond payment would be affordable under the current special assessment. This is not raising the assessment at all over the 15 years. It does assume a 2% growth in taxable value annually. That's pretty conservative. It's 3.1 this year. It's been 5% the last 2 years, but you never know in any given year what it might be. So average 2% year over year on the increase in taxable value. That's the overview. If you have any questions, go ahead. I'll just mention that, as the chief said, it's already gone up, $4 million from the original estimate, and they pared it down, but it's gone up a couple years, just in 3 years. So you're gonna save on those construction costs. It is possible as well to be negotiated in the bond to allow an early payoff. Right now, for example, our sewer lift station can only be paid off in full. We can't pay a little bit of principal here, which we do plan on doing next year or the year after. So it can be negotiated to just make some extra principal payments along the way, which the chief does plan to do, and there is funds to support that over time. Or eventually there will be a point where he will be able to pay it off early, which is the intention. But based on circumstances, you can't really tell that now. But there is a plan to attempt to pay it off before the 15 years if funds allow. I think I covered everything very quickly. Apologize for that. So if you have any questions, please direct them to me or the chief if he'd like to answer.
Any board member questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Just to be clear, when you say projected fund balance,
Correct.
which fund is this coming out of?
This is
capital,
the Fire Capital Improvement Fund, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't touching operating, paying for any of the firefighter salaries, or that's all operating. This is strictly for capital purchases, this
Okay.
fund. Yep.
Any further board questions?
Good. Oh.
Commissioner?
Thank you for humoring me, but I'd love to get a copy of those slides to give to my other 4 townships, because they're all involved to some extent in redoing their layout, and it may involve another station or 2. Obviously, it'll be much smaller than this. There are more precincts, or there are the same number of precincts in the other 4 districts or townships combined as there are in Comstock. So you guys are the big kahuna by far. And if we could latch on to that information, I think it might help us spend some money more intelligently than the other 4 townships.
Might have to chalk that one up with the chief. Any further questions or comments? Have anything else for us, guys?
Yep, I was just going to add that, again, nothing approved tonight. This is just kind of a first look at how we're going to be able to afford it. Now, coming up in the new year, we're going to talk about the actually going out for the bond and all that process. Based on what the chief's timeline is, I'll have him talk about that when he wants to break ground, et cetera. But we're going to have to get a bond counsel. We're going to have to get a municipal advisor. The board's going to have to do a resolution kind of similar that we did for the sewer lift station, but that will be in the coming meetings. Thank you.
So I just want to reemphasize, and I know you have a big agenda tonight. The reason we brought this up is there's one meeting, early January, one board meeting. And if everything goes well, we'd like to get approval to move forward to the architectural firm after that meeting to get working on this, and not to wait till February. However, if we're not at a point where we're comfortable to do it, that's fine. We're not in a rush. We want to do it right. So I'll reemphasize that on the plan that Brett presented with you, and again, those are just estimates, so it includes all of our big, small and large vehicle purchases. That's large expensive equipment, generators, that sort of thing, parking lot replacements, roof replacements. It's a long-term projection. We're encompassing that. And we're not proposing to change the assessment rates. So what we have is what we have. The intent is to negotiate, if we can get forward with a bond, is to pay that off early. We did this with Station 9-2. We had a 10-year, it was a different financing mechanism, but we financed it over 10 years in 2014, and we paid it off per the board's request in less time, and actually is right on our 7-year mark, I think, that we had to pay it off. So that would be the same plan here without raising the rates. So The next step with the architectural firm that we intend to put on the agenda for January would be $371,000 to proceed with the architectural firm. That's not saying we're moving forward with the station. That's allowing us to create architectural construction plans that, if approved to move forward, we then go out to bid for the station. And then obviously interjecting with the board as approval as needed. If there's any other questions, comments, be happy to take those in tonight. Otherwise, I'm very accessible between now and the next meeting. And if it works out well, we can move forward with the architect next meeting. And if not, we'll come back better prepared.
Any further questions? Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Moving along to planning and zoning, we have a second reading of ordinance number 563. Attorney Thal?
All right, so first up, you have second reading of ordinance 563 regarding accessory structures. It's residential accessory buildings and structures and provisions regarding having chickens in the township. And so, this ordinance comes from a recommendation of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has reviewed the language at a number of meetings, has held a public hearing on it, and sent it forward to the board with a recommendation for approval. The board took it up at its last meeting, and the planner made a presentation regarding the revisions, and it was accepted for first reading at that meeting. So today it's up for adoption, consideration. If you have any questions, I can try to answer them for you.
Any questions for Attorney Thal? Trustee McIver?
No, I have none, thank you.
Clerk Beauchamp?
I don't have any.
Trustee Pratt?
None.
Trustee Amos? Trustee Cherry? No questions for me. I'd be looking for a motion on ordinance number 563.
I move that we approve second reading of ordinance number 563, accessory structure and chicken ordinance text amendments.
Second.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, seconded by Trustee Pratt. Roll call vote?
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Moving along to the second reading of ordinance number 564, battery energy storage systems.
All right, so again, this is a second reading of ordinance number 564 regarding the battery energy storage systems. Again, the Planning Commission and the Moratorium Committee had several meetings regarding the proposed text or ways to improve your existing language, your existing BES ordinance. Multiple meetings, multiple presentations. Then got to the point of holding public hearings. You actually had 2 public hearings on the text language, and ultimately they came up with a recommendation to approve these revisions to your currently existing ordinance based upon the fact that they felt that these provisions will improve the protections for the health, safety, and welfare of the township, including, as the superintendent indicated, a setback of 2,000 feet from sensitive land areas such as a school, so it cannot be located next door to the school. So there's a number of positive revisions in this ordinance. You accepted it for first reading at your last meeting, and it's up for adoption tonight. If anybody has any questions, I can do my best to answer them.
Any questions for Attorney Thal?
Thanks.
Trustee McIver?
No, I think it's been worked over pretty good.
Clerk Beauchamp?
No, I'm clear on it.
Trustee Pratt?
Nothing.
Trustee Amos?
No.
Trustee Cherry? I'd be looking for a motion on ordinance number 564.
I make a motion, we approve the second reading of ordinance number 564, battery energy storage systems.
Second?
Motion made by Trustee Cherry, supported by Trustee McIver. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving along to Clerk Beauchamp.
Okay, looking at some modifications or updates to the 2026 fee schedule. We have a new rate update from Rob Stafford, who is our excavator for cemetery. He has not changed any rates, but he has removed the option of providing burials a day before a holiday, which he had previously charged $454. So I'm just asking for that to be removed from the fee schedule. And also, Casey was going to present a text amendment, but since she's not here, I have asked if you want to present in her place.
So, in the planning and zoning, we always kind of comb over this, but one thing that's changed in our text amendments is we use a new system. We got a grant that's hosted online, but with that new system, any changes we have to pay for. We can't do that ourselves because of the formatting piece. So she was just requesting to have that dollar amount increased. Was it $600?
So it's currently $600, and she was suggesting $700.
$700, just to cover that cost. So if any text amendments come through. Now, if a applicant wants a text amendment, then we actually put that cost onto them in our fee schedule. But if the board, when the planning commission changes the chicken ordinance and the accessory structure, then that is something that we have to pay for. So we want to make sure that our costs are covered on that.
So just to add on that, to submit pages to Giffords and Webster, which does our clear zoning ordinances, it's $25 per page. And so, for example, the BESS ordinance was exactly $600. Though it was a township cost, if there was an applicant, that would eat up all their cost. That would not cover the cost of posting a public hearing or mailing a public hearing or any of those other costs. So Casey's suggestion was increasing it to $700 to cover some of those bigger projects, but it's up to the board if that makes sense.
Any questions for Clerk Beauchamp?
No.
Looking for a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the new 2026 fee schedule.
Support.
I would just say, because the fee schedule does not reflect that $700, if that's, you would want to add that to the motion to increase that to $700.
Which part is it? The ordinance interpretation?
No, it's the text amendment. Yeah, ordinance, I think it is under the ordinance interpretation, sorry.
All right, we're going to try to not do it 3 times, like last meeting.
Right there.
Okay. So, make a motion, we approve the 2026 fee schedule with the text amendment at $700.
Motion made by Trustee Cherry.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I oppose. Motion passes. Moving along to Trustee Pratt.
Yes, thank you. Both these add-ons tonight are very brief, but I wanted to give a heads up to the board. I had the opportunity last Tuesday, I believe it was the 9th, to attend a trial being held here in Kalamazoo at Circuit Court. The file number on that is 2024-0614-CH. Anyway, it involved a board member, that being the Treasurer, Treasurer Bloomfield, and it had to do with property here in Comstock Township. I think it's imperative that the board looks at this issue and the issues that were brought up in this trial. I do have some information over the motions over this past year. I've requested a transcript of the trial. I have not received that as yet. Once I do that, I will make that available to the board for review. Outside of that, It has to do with property on South 26th Street here in Comstock Township. Outside of that, I don't think it's fair to discuss it any further with Treasurer Bloomfield not being here. So I'll leave it at that, but I will share what information I have.
I believe Treasurer Bloomfield has made it pretty well known that if there's any matters that regard her, that we could talk about it in public session. So if you'd like to continue on, I'm sure she would give you the blessing.
Thank you, but that I think is enough to, again, give notice. This issue I think is important for us to discuss at a future date. I would hope that the first meeting in January would be in perfect time. That is, if the transcript is available.
And so was this matter a matter that was pertaining the treasurer's elected duties?
It has an element of trust, and it has an element dealing with our duties here as board members. So I do believe that is pertinent. And again, that's as far as I would like to say.
So is that a yes or no?
Concerning?
Was this issue pertaining the duties of the treasurer? Anything in regards to her office?
My belief is yes.
Okay. Any board member questions? Trustee Cherry?
Not at this time.
Trustee Amos?
Oh, I'm good.
Clerk Bochamp?
Thank you.
Trustee MacGyver?
No, thanks.
I was also made aware that you attended this hearing for Treasurer Bloomfield, and she claims that that is a personal matter. And so for you to bring a personal matter for an elected official to a public board meeting where we handle township business, I find that totally inappropriate.
I don't accept that, if that was hers or yours. This is a public information, a public trial. It was publicized both downtown and at the courthouse on Gull Road.
Maybe we should leave those places for the place to publicize those, and we handle township business
This is
at a township board
business.
meeting.
This will be township business when we discuss it.
Thank you, Trustee Pratt.
Thank you.
Moving along.
Yes, the second item, at our last meeting, there was a discussion concerning the deputy treasurer and some comments that the supervisor made as a friend, and I can understand that. But I just wanted to add clarity from my perspective. I don't go around picking on anyone, including the deputy or anyone else. What I look at and have been trained to look at is behavior. And from the behavior I've seen from the deputy at times, I do question judgment. And so concerning his behavior that I've seen concerning this board and other boards in the township, I've seen the deputy have various shout-outs when he's either here, when he has been in the past on this board, when there's a discussion going on. I've seen that behavior at every other meeting, the DDA and the P&Z. I could hear him in the background as I observed that on TV. So I'm looking at behavior. I don't go around picking on people just to pick on people. So to me, that's a red flag. In addition to that, he came to one meeting to present as a citizen, but he had a T-shirt on that was totally inappropriate. It was visible.
Please, no comments. He's speaking.
It was visible to the entire public. And so I find that objectionable, and that to me is a red flag. I also see when there's an issue that comes up, and it seems to be the first thing on his agenda is to attack, not to inquire, but to attack. And I've seen it in person, I've seen it on Facebook, etc. And he and I are both veterans, but I can tell you, if that kind of behavior was in any kind of military setting, he would have a strict confrontation with the higher-ups. That would not be tolerable. Some people have an easy transition from military to the public again, and some people don't. What I see here, again, I look at behavior. I don't look at somebody to be picking on them or to try to get them off in a different area. So I just wanted to clarify that for you or anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pratt. Trustee Cherry, do you have anything? Any questions?
No.
Trustee Amos?
No.
Clerk Bochamp?
None.
Trustee McIver?
Nothing.
Thank you, Trustee Pratt. No comments, please. Moving along to Supervisor, we have the Planning Commission appointments. So we have a couple Planning Commission members that are, they had some vacancies in the Planning Commission. Those individuals at one point decided to not continue on. So there were two of those appointments were refilled in. That would be with Amber Lawrence and Joseph Weinentraub. And then another is Larry Nichols, that is the chair of the Planning Commission. And I am recommending them all for reappointments with terms ending 12/31/2028. I would like to make 3 separate motions. The first would be I make a motion to appoint Larry Nichols to the Planning Commission with term ending 12/31/2028.
Discussion.
We have a motion made by Supervisor Martin. We have a support by Trustee Amos, and then now we'll go into discussion. Trustee Pratt?
Yes, I would like to table for all 3 at this point in time and have it brought up at the first meeting in January of 2026.
Trustee Cherry, do you have anything to add? Any questions?
No.
Trustee Amos?
No.
Clerk Bochamp?
If, I will just add to Bob Pratt's suggestion, if that's what the board wishes to do. Our first board meeting is before the next Planning Commission meeting, so the timing would be okay if the board wants to wait.
Trustee McIver, do you have any discussion? We have a motion and a second.
I would concur that the first meeting in January would probably be, it's time to look at this a little longer. I can't think of a better way to say it. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that we have a battery energy storage facility that is going to be built in proximity within 2,000 feet from a school. These planning commissioners, in the last year, we've put money into multiple training sessions. I think they've done a fine job on the Planning Commission. They've learned a lot. It's a pretty complex topic that they're going to be going through site plan approval and different things like that. I think it would be highly appropriate considering that their terms are ending and they're very familiar with especially this matter, as well as recently trained and doing a good job. Other things that I've heard in the past were, why throw someone new in that isn't familiar with training and the procedures and things like that. I think we have a planning commission that they clearly don't all agree on everything, but they can make things work. And I think they've done a good job. I think they helped create, likely on a really big topic like battery energy storage being built within proximity of a school. I think they've done a fine job. So I don't know how we proceed here. Well, we have a motion, a second, and then in the middle, an option to table. Attorney Thal?
Well, you could call vote on the motion. There's been expressed opinion by some members to table. I mean, if you wanted to take up a motion to table first and vote on that, you could also do that. If there's a motion and a second to postpone the decision. So you could make a motion to postpone the decision on the prior motion that was made. But I didn't hear a motion and a second in that regard. So there's just a motion on the table to appoint. Seconded, there was discussion, and so then you would normally just call a vote.
Supervisor Martin, may I? I would have to agree with you. I think that the planning commissioners that are currently on the board have been through a lot of training, a lot of them are new. They put a lot of time and energy into the BES and the moratorium committee meeting, the whole process and project. But I also, I feel like if a board member wants to wait, it's not a no, it's just they need more time. I think that's appropriate. I don't think that anyone is prepared, or at least some board members are not prepared this evening to make a decision.
I respect that. So we just back the bus up on the motion?
That's fine. Since you made the motion, if a seconder is also willing, you can basically withdraw the motion and recognize that you'll bring it back to your first meeting in January.
I recognize the motion and respect the ability to table the matter.
Jerry, you seconded it. Do you agree?
Sure. I think there's no harm in that.
Be looking for a motion to table the all of the planning commission appointments.
I move that we table the planning commission appointments until our next township board meeting.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? I'm opposed. Moving along to finance. We'll let you get started, Brett, and then when you're ready for me to look for a motion to open and close, I'll do that.
Sure. All right. Good evening. Today is everyone's favorite day where we have to go through all the public hearings and budget resolutions. So basically, what you have on the agenda is a public hearing for each budget, followed by a budget resolution, which you will have to adopt if you so choose. So, Mr. Supervisor, as you go along, we're going to need a motion to open the public hearing. You'll hear any public comments that are necessary. There'll be a motion to close the public hearing. And then if you so choose, there'll be a motion to adopt the budget resolution or not. That'll be up to the board. So just following the agenda, you'll be opening and closing the hearings and approving the resolutions as you go along. And again, they're resolutions, so they'll have to be roll call votes, so it's going to take a little bit of time.
And then in between opening and closing, will there be any chance for board members, if they have any questions, to ask you after it's closed?
I can defer to the attorney, but I think you can make your discussion during the public hearing, or you can leave the public hearing to the public and then discuss after you've closed the hearing.
Attorney Thal, do you have a preference?
Yeah, typically you open the public hearing, take public comment, close the public hearing, and then the board would engage in discussion prior to adoption of any resolution.
And then address any questions with Finance Director Padgett if we
Correct.
had?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So I'd be looking for a motion to open public hearing on the 2026 general fund budget.
I move that we open public hearing for the 2026 general fund budget.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. When we would need to roll call vote on that one, or no?
Just a voice vote.
Yeah, just, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is open.
Hi, Tammy Keeler. I think that you ought to use some of this budget, general budget, for our tornado sirens. You know, you guys are wasting a lot of money and a lot of our time. You know, we want these tornado sirens back, and you ought to use that. Put that in your budget. There's going to be more firemen on there now, so what are you going to worry about? I mean, come on, we need these tornado sirens. So please, take some time out and think about it and put these tornado sirens in. Because pretty soon, that battery plant's going to go up there, you're going to need air raid sirens for that. So please put that in your budget. We want our tornado sirens back. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Jeannie Kissinger. When we start talking about t-shirts, I've been slammed all over for my t-shirts. So here, everybody, here's my dachshunds. Now that's my t-shirt for tonight because That's what I can afford to wear. And when you start knocking somebody for what they've got on, that's inappropriate. I'm sorry. And then
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is for a public hearing for the budget. We will have a public hearing.
I'm
We will
getting
have
to that in
public comment.
just a second. Are we talking about the fire department now?
We are talking about the general fund budget. There is an opportunity for the fire operating budget and the fire capital budget along.
Now?
Right now is the general fund budget public hearing.
Okay, so we've got to wait for the fire department one?
It would be appropriate for that context.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we will, during these named public hearings of particular budgets, when all that is said and done, we will still have public comment at the end of the board meeting. So I'd like to see if there's any public comment on the 2026 general fund budget. If there's no comment, I'd be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion, we close the public hearing on the general fund budget for 2026.
Motion to close public hearing made by trustee Cherry.
Support.
Supported by clerk Bochamp. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Moving along to the 2026 general fund budget resolution.
Mr. Supervisor, you really should then proceed to the resolution on the general fund. So you have the public hearing.
Yeah, yep.
I thought you were going to fire operating.
Yep, nope, I'm at the 2026 general fund
all right.
budget resolution. Thank you,
All right,
Attorney
yeah,
Thal.
sorry.
So it depends on how the board wants, to do it. If we want to get a motion and then have discussion, or if there's any questions for Brett before we put a motion on the table. Since we don't formally follow Robert's rules, we probably could.
So, yeah, it'd be appropriate to ask any questions to your financial director and then entertain a motion and then discuss that motion.
Okay, let's do it that way.
Yeah.
Any questions? Brett, do you have anything you'd like to add for us? A lot of numbers on there, so I'm sure there's a lot.
Nope, nothing additional. It's identical to the budget you saw at the last meeting and that was published. So nothing really different to discuss, but I will entertain questions if you have any.
My question would be, for us as a board, because there was a public hearing notice, there's not really opportunity for any changes at this point since it was noticed.
You could, but we would have to, again, notice it and have another public hearing within, is it 10 days, 14 days? I can't remember. It would be pretty.
Your notice has to be 7 days ahead.
So we'd have to notice 7 days ahead, have a special meeting. It just has to be adopted by December 31st in order to spend money in 2026 So you
Yeah,
could.
so
you
the
could-
matter is
Yeah.
pretty important.
Yeah,
for
the
this evening.
alternative is if you saw something you didn't have on there, like you noticed probably under you wouldn't have the deputy's wage, but that in January, we could go and amend the budget to add
That's it.
that piece back.
If I
on.
can interrupt, that is actually in there.
Is it in there now?
The bottom line was posted,
Okay.
so that wasn't
But
changed.
for instance, something like that, you can go back in and amend
I
the budget.
did add
once the budget's
5,000 to the
okay.
supervisor line and move it from a different line. So it was posted, what was posted agrees with what's in there.
Okay, just for example, for the residents, something like adding sirens back on would change a lot and for this hearing and things like that.
If you added weather sirens with no substitutions and you changed how much you were spending, then yes, you would have to post it again. I'm assuming if you moved it from another line and what you were spending didn't change, maybe you could.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, you can move stuff within the budget after the budget hearing and not have to hold another budget hearing.
Yeah. But if you add them in and you're going to spend carryover on it, you would have to repost the public hearing and you would have to repost and then after 7 days have another public hearing by December 31st.
But it's
Thank
still
you.
possible to amend it. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Trustee Cherry, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, that was my question. It can be amended in the future should we decide to move forward with something else, like the sirens or whatnot. That was my question.
Oh, yeah, going into the next year. Once you adopt the budget, in the next year, you can always amend it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just has to be, something has to be adopted by December 31st, or you're not allowed to spend money under Michigan law, so.
Okay. Good to know.
Trustee Amos?
I'm good, thanks.
Trustee Pratt?
And nothing, thank you.
Clerk Bochamp?
So I just want to clarify on the CIP, because we didn't vote on anything in the CIP. What you're saying is it could come back and say April, for example.
Sure.
And we could agree to pursue a CIP project, and then you could amend the budget to.
Yeah, the capital improvement plan is just that. It's a plan of things you want to do. There's no actual money tied to it until it goes into the budget. So you can decide to put any project into the budget and amend it at any time. But the CIP is separate from the budget, as it's just a plan of things you want to do. There's no pot of money sitting anywhere for projects. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Trustee McIver?
No, I have none, thank you.
With that, if there's no further questions, be looking for a motion.
I will make it. I move that we approve resolution number 2025-23 general fund budget resolution.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Cherry. Roll call vote?
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Clerk Bochamp, yes. Trustee McIver?
Yes?
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
No.
Okay, motion carried.
Now we're moving along to the public hearing for 2026 fire operating budget.
I move that we open the public hearing for the 2026 fire operating budget.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp,
Support.
supported by Trustee Cherry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are now open for public hearing for the 2026 fire operating budget.
Okay, hopefully I'm doing this right. I can say it now. Okay, first off, as for a new facility, you guys just went up on our taxes. We can't afford any more money for a new building. Not to mention, your structure on Nazareth Road, we helped pay for that. Comstock Township did, the taxes. We don't want another building down there right now. They can't even make it down to our street on Lawndale in a good time. We don't want that building. We don't want the extra money. We cannot afford it. And I know you're all thinking fires and everything else. We can't afford it as taxpayers. You just doubled our taxes. We can't afford this. It needs to go down the road a lot longer than 3 years. And that's what I wanted to say. And I could have saved you big bucks on the vehicles if somebody would have called Jeff Perigo on the Seagrave like I told him to, which he did not. He could have had all of your engines for half the price you paid out. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further comment?
Tammy Keeler. Why didn't they think of this when they were building the one on River Street? Why didn't they think of this before that they were going to have more men and stuff like that? I can understand them being close. They're already close to the highway. I think this is their main goal, to be closer to the highway. They already are. You go the one on East Michigan, get to the highway from there, real quick. You go River Street, highway. It is a waste of the taxpayers' money, and you guys will raise the taxpayers' taxes higher than what they already are. They're already going to be paying taxes on this bus. How much more do you think that these people can take? They own their houses. They don't want to lose their houses for not paying their taxes. This is just, let's just pocket their tax money. Let's just use it for something stupid like this. I could see adding on to it on one of the fire stations. I know that we need our fire department. But we also need other things in this town. This isn't New York City. You don't need something that huge. And that's what you're trying to make this into, New York City. I'm telling you right now. You want to build all these places and stuff like this, but what? They've been operating with these fires. I don't remember when the one was down here in Comstock Camp. It wasn't even big. You know, they got to us on time. They do too. We don't need one that big. We really don't. Like I said, they should have thought about this when they were building the other ones. Use that money for something else. You guys wasted the COVID money. That could have been used for this instead of this. Why didn't you use this? No, it's just ridiculous the way you guys are wasting money and you're still wasting it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further comments on the 2026 fire operating budget?
Merry Christmas. Dean Rockwell. I reside on Fawn Meadow Trail. Maybe it's a question for the attorney or their boards. I have a lot of friends that work in the fire department, even up in Grand Rapids. They're building their first fire station in 37 years, a Kendall Street station that services a population larger than ours, but will be 2,500 square feet. They are smaller than what was proposed. I have the utmost respect for these heroes on the fire department and everything they do. But I can say, like the one up there in Grand Rapids, they are getting a lot of state grants, and or maybe it's a possibility to move it to a millage. I just think you would get more public weigh-in for this sort of bonds and this many millions of dollars. Again, if the public supports, it's great. We obviously want, you know, these heroes to have the best and brightest. But I just think possibly moving into a millage and or looking at state grants to supplant this many numbers of millions of dollars and a long-term project for this many square feet might just be reasonable. That's all. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Any further citizen comment? If there's no further comment, I'd be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing for the fire operating budget.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Cherry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Now we are moving along to the 2026, let's see,
Capital budget, fire.
capital budget.
The fire capital, so we were just fire operating. This is the fire capital public hearing.
Yep.
Yes, there's two public hearings.
Yeah, I see that.
Separately, but then one resolution.
With just one resolution. I gotcha. Sounds good. So we're going back-to-back public hearings. So we're going to go looking for a motion to open the 2026 fire capital budget public hearing.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing for the 2026 fire capital budget.
Support. Motion made by Trustee Cherry, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are now open for a public hearing for the 2026 fire capital budget. Any resident or citizen comments? If there are no comments, we'll be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing for the 2026 fire capital budget.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Public hearing is now closed. We are at the 2026 fire fund budget resolution.
Okay.
Any questions? Trustee MacGyver, do you have any questions for anybody?
No, I do not.
Clerk Bochamp?
Not a question, but a couple comments. The new fire station, as was explained tonight, is not on this budget because it's not approved yet. If it does get approved, they mentioned that it would be the fire capital budget, and also that it would be paid for with a bond with funds that have already been planned for without an increase in taxes. So we are not voting on that tonight. We are just voting on the current budget with the new station not included on it. So I just wanted to clarify that for the board.
Thank you. Trustee Pratt, any questions?
None.
Trustee Amos?
No, I have none. Thank you.
Trustee Cherry? No. And I have no questions either. Be looking for a motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 2025-24, fire resolution.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Cherry. Roll call?
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
No.
Trustee Amos?
No.
Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Motion carried.
Moving along to public hearing for 2026 Municipal Streets Fund Budget. I'd be looking for a motion to open public hearing.
I move that we open the public hearing for the 2026 Municipal Streets Fund Budget.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now open for a public hearing for the 2026 Municipal Streets Fund Budget. If there is any citizen or resident comment. If there's no comment, I'd be looking for a motion to close public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now closed in the public hearing. Moving along to the 2026 Municipal Streets Fund Budget Resolution. Any questions?
No.
May I?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure the board was aware, and we talked about this before, but in the municipal street fund budget, that only represents the millage that we levy for roads. We'll have an additional amount of generally around $250,000 contributed by the road commission along with that, and then there's some new road fund tax money. No, you're not anymore? Okay, well, check that. There's participating funds that we will get from the road commission, generally around $256,000 in addition to this, that we have to match, but we easily match it with that. So just wanted to let you know, that's not all that we're spending on roads. We can't budget for the money that they're contributing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions?
No.
Be looking for a motion on the resolution.
I move that we approve Resolution 2025-25, Road Maintenance and Improvement Resolution.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Cherry. Roll call vote.
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving along to public hearing, 2026 Police Fund Budget. Looking for a motion to open public hearing.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing to the 2026 police fund budget.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Cherry, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're now opposed. We're now open for public hearing.
Tammy Keeler, we do need more police in this town. We need our own police department, it's what we need. You have buildings right around here where you can put a police department, like the old bank, somewhere like that. We do need more police. I don't know how much they're being paid to come here or not, the state police, but we do need more protection around here. We have them walking in our yards, stealing out of our cars. We need more police protection around here. It's getting bad around here. These homeless people just think that they can just walk in your yard, jump in your car. You know, something's got to be done here. We need more policing. If you have enough funding for that, get a little police department in here. That's how you guys can help us with that police fund. We need more policemen. Thank you.
Is that that one?
If you notice the one place that's up here on the corner of River and East Michigan, the gentleman just replaced all the windows in there 2 weeks ago. Well, guess what? All of his windows are broken out again. We need police protection and we need it now. It's not a safe place to live right this second. And then we have people following us, harassing us. We need some protection. And a police station would be ideal wherever you put it. But I'm just saying, this poor guy has put those windows in there 3 times this year. And they're all broke again. And that's on the corner of River and East Michigan. Used to be a water aquatics thing that they put in your house so that some of your sodium and everything else was lower. Well, his windows are all busted up again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further citizen or resident comment?
That's not fiction, that's fact.
Be looking for a motion to close public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Moving along to the 2026 Police Fund Budget Resolution. Any questions for Brett or Attorney Thaw? Brett, I have a question. So as far as the millage goes, can you explain like the past and going forward and where we're at with that?
Sure. So originally authorized in 2016, it was a 1 mil police millage for 5 years. It was renewed again, I believe, in 21. It's 5 years inclusive. But in the second go around, after superintendent has talked to the sheriff, we started paying less. We started paying the actual cost of the per deputy. So if we had a rookie instead of a veteran, it would cost less. So over time, we didn't need to levy as much in the millage, so we lowered it. About 3 years in a row, we levied less than was necessary. And then eventually last year, we didn't levy it at all because we could use all the surplus funds. Now that those funds are used, we have to again levy the millage again this year. And the board approved to levy the full amount, which isn't a mill, it's like 0.9920 is rolled back by Headley. So that's why the current property tax amount is much higher than what we're actually spending for police, which is, we're guessing $460,000. It just depends on which deputies are in the township at the time. So that's kind of where we ended up with the millage for this year. Now next year, if we end up with a surplus, well, let me take that back. It expires this year, so next year, if you want it to continue, you're gonna have to put it on the ballot again or figure something else out. But this is the last year you can collect this particular millage without putting it on the ballot again.
And historically, then this is roughly the same mill as when it was in place?
Correct, yeah. It's never been raised, but it has been rolled back by Headley. It's been just that 1 mil. So you can renew it as is at the lower rate. You can try to recapture it, do what's called a Headley override and go back up to 1 mil, which technically wouldn't be a renewal. You'd have to present it as a new millage, or you can ask for less, ask for more. That's completely up to the board. But no, starting in 16, it's been the 1 mil and then been rolled back by the Headley.
Thank you, Brett. Any questions?
I don't think so. Excuse me.
Trustee Amos? Trustee Pratt? Clerk Bochamp?
I do want to clarify too that this was voted on, I think it was the November 17th board meeting, to levy this millage again, and that's what was publicized. So the board already did kind of decide to levy this. So this is just a reflection of that.
And you are levying it because the tax bills were sent out.
Yes.
Trustee McIver, any questions?
No, thank you.
Be looking for a motion.
Move we approve resolution number 2025-26, law enforcement resolution.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. Roll call?
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Clerk Bochamp, yes. Trustee Cherry? Yes. Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving along to the public hearing for the 2026 Senior Services Budget. I'm looking for a motion to open public hearing.
I move that we open public hearing for the 2026 Senior Services Budget.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're now open for public hearing for the 2026 Senior Services Budget. If there's any citizen or resident comment. I'd be looking for a motion to close public hearing.
I move that we close public hearing.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Moving along to the 2026 Senior Services Fund Budget Resolution. Any questions?
I have a comment, if I may.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Two things. One, I just wanted to clarify, this is our local senior millage levied by the Comstock Community Center, not the county millage, which is levied by the county commissioners. Two, this is essentially a pass-through millage. The senior center can levy it because of the statutes that allow the township to levy it, but we collect it, pass it all on to them, and then they handle, we are not custodians of the money. It passes through us and to them, so it's not in any of our coffers. It goes to them and they handle it on their own. They have their own set of audits and that sort of thing. So we adopt it on their behalf and then they handle it.
Okay.
And are they the ones that also ask for the millages, or would that, for an increase or anything, they would handle it?
Essentially, we have to approve it, but they draft the language and then the township board has to approve that language to go on the ballot.
And so they're looking to levy the same as
Correct.
they have been?
Yep.
Any questions for Treasurer or Finance Director Padgett? Looking for a motion?
Move that we approve Resolution 2025-27, Senior Services.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. Roll call vote?
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Clerk Bochamp, yes. Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Moving along to public hearing for the 2026 library budget. I'm looking for a motion to open public hearing.
I move we open public hearing for the 2026 library budget.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, supported by Trustee Amos. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're now open for a public hearing for the 2026 library budget.
Karen Height. I have lived in Richland Township, I've lived in Charleston Township, and I now live in Comstock Township. I have never paid so much for a library as we do here in Comstock. Of my taxes, $800 of my taxes go to the library. My question is, what do they do? Do they dry clean their books? I can't see why it needs to be that high and that kind of money when our taxpayers are already strapped paying their bills. They own their building. Yes, I know it has to have repairs, everything does. And they do have to get new books, but I think they are way, way, way out of line. My taxes, because I still own property in Charleston Township, my taxes for the library there last year was $35, not $800. So I ask that you don't pass anything that has to do with increasing their budget because it needs to be lowered. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further comments? Be looking for a motion to close public hearing.
I move that we close the library public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Clerk Bochamp, seconded by Trustee MacGyver. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Moving along to 2026 Library Fund Budget Resolution. Brett, a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
As far as what they have going on, millages, things like that, can you speak to that?
Yep, sure. There's, the library budget actually consists of 2 millages, both voter approved. I can't recall the year, I would have to get back to you on those, but there's 2 of them together combined in one on the tax bill, both approved by the voters. They have a library board as well they have already adopted their budget, but because again, they can levy it by township statute, it has to pass through you guys to approve the budget resolution. As far as what they use it on, I can pull up the budget and go through that, but Emily, the library director, would be a better person to ask for that particular question, but.
Are they looking to levy the same amount?
Yeah, it's never changed, except for it's been rolled back by Headley, but they've levied the same amount since, I think 1991. I would have to go back and check again, the L4029, just to be sure, but.
Any questions?
That was mine. I think there's no increase.
No.
Okay.
No.
Be looking for a motion if there's no further questions.
I make a motion, we approve 2026 Library Fund Budget Resolution 2025-28.
Support.
Motion made by Trustee Cherry, supported by Clerk Bochamp. Roll call vote?
Trustee Amos?
No.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Clerk Bochamp, yes. Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Trustee MacGyver?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Moving along to Superintendent Hess for a superintendent report.
Yeah, just a couple things, kind of ties into the budget. Brett was talking about the road funding, our millage, which I think was approximately $955,000. We do get a match from the county for around $250,000. I know our Commissioner Stahauer had mentioned about the state legislature with the property tax and deferring, and we were expected to get around $236,000 roughly extra funding for our roads, but that's been delayed. And they don't expect that funding possibly to get here until the end of the year, so we can't count on that this year, hopefully. And there is a couple, I think, lawsuits, whether or not they can, I think it's marijuana money or something at that sort, whether they can legally take that higher tax. So as of this year, it would be that millage plus we would get the match at 250. Just Brett wasn't privy to that information yet. So sheriff's contract, as Brett said, that is when we first put that together, it was roughly around one officer, 24-hour shifts, so that included almost 4 officers and 1 car, and that really kind of took up our millage. I went in with a couple administrators and we trued it up to say, because they were charging us a flat fee, that if we had an officer that was making a little less money, we would only want to pay for whatever that officer is on patrol in our community, and it saves some funding. That I will be presenting that contract. I mentioned that the sheriff was looking at adding the automobiles to the contract this year, but because we only have 1 more year, they were looking for a 4-year obligation on that, and I had talked to Sheriff Fuller, and he is going to start that negotiation on our next segment of contract or after our millage. So the board, that will be discussion this spring of how we want to present on our going for a new millage, whether it's more officers, the same amount of officers, etc. So next meeting, I will be bringing just the standard contract for this 1 year to match the end of our millage that we're taking. So I have about finished up with just the handbook changes. I'm going to send that to the attorney, so hopefully if he can get to it by January, it'll be fine. But at the end of January, there's just a lot of law changes in there. Pretty much he'll look that over, give the blessing, and then I'll present that to the board. And then I just want to thank Brett again. Between I think a team effort. We end up, he's the numbers guy, but I have to kind of put in whatever contracts and give him some loops. But every year it's just always a think tank, and anybody that else contributes. The budget's always sometimes fun. Well, you know, townships don't get a lot of grants like cities do. We get a lot for parks and rec, and fire department gets for equipment, but townships have a limited on that. Cities seem to get a lot more because they have the infrastructure, and then they have their own DPW departments that they can get grants for. So thank you, Brett. So that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Any questions for Superintendent Hess? Moving along to reports, we have bills paid December 4th, 2025 through December 11th, 2025. We have cash summary by fund, November 2025. Cash summary by bank account, November 2025. November 2025 fire report, November 2025 fire department public relations report. In informational future action items, we have FOIA requests. Moving along to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor, and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you'll be making statements to the board without discussion from board members, or you are welcome to make an appointment with the supervisor or superintendent to discuss your comments further. Their contact information is located by the door. Please keep comments clean and respectful.
Hi, William Knight. So from what I understood from the trustee, there's an issue with me using my First Amendment right to free speech. And everything that I've done has been in a personal capacity, so even tying it to my deputy treasurer role is unfounded. Regarding the trustee, and I'll mention that another township resident was there with him at Treasurer Bloomfield's hearing. Again, had nothing to do with township matters. It seems like targeted just to slander them more. I get it that most of you don't like me. You don't have to like me. I don't work for you. You work for me. You work for us. Using my personal speech, you guys did that when you voted to make it so I'm only allowed here 2 hours a day. You had no basis. You said I was threatening, but I hadn't said anything threatening. I've never once yelled at you. I've said what you've done is uncalled for or not right, but I've never once raised my voice or yelled at any of you. So to say that was really, really disheartening to hear. That trustee can just sit there and blatantly lie about my conduct. Should really look at his own conduct.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to back up just a little and finish my rant. Trustee Cherry is vilified for having an opinion if it doesn't align with certain agendas, as are trustees MacGyver and Pratt, and also Clerk Beauchamp. It is disingenuous to say they don't listen to the people. This divisive group is not all of the people. Treasurer Bloomfield may not have been violating Robert's Rules of Order, but ethically I believe she was wrong in participating in discussions and voting on the Clark Hill matter. I believe if the facts were all to come out, no one could reasonably argue that she did not have a personal stake in that. Sometimes it's not what you can do, but what you should do. Also from my readings, it appears that HR rules do not apply to elected officials. Possibly threatening to file a lawsuit might not apply here. I'm not sure. I also have concerns that on tax day, though Treasurer Bloomfield and Deputy Treasurer Knight were both physically here in our township offices, neither one made any attempt to engage with any citizens who came in or to take any tax payments. This is one of the treasurer's statutory duties. I realize she is authorized to designate others to do this when she is unavailable. But what could have been so important that neither she nor her deputy were able to do this and left the office staff who have other duties to perform to handle it? Again, just because you can does not mean you should. When I posed this question on a website, Deputy Knight answered me with a laughing emoji. I do have a sense of humor, but try as I might, I can find no humor in this situation. Anyone else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Tammy Keeler, boy, you're digging yourself a deeper hole, aren't you? This is why we really want for you off this board. You put down Sandy, she's not even here to defend herself. That is wrong on your part. Would you want somebody talking behind your back? You have no right to attack her because she brought out the budget and she told us where all of our money went. What happens in that courtroom should stay in that courtroom. You shouldn't have been attending that. You are in the township. If it had something to do with the township, fine. But does it? This is what I want to know. You sit there and you attack another veteran. But served in Iraq and stuff. That really irks me. I don't know what kind of veteran you are, but to me, that is low down. You better get your facts straight, because I thought veterans were supposed to mean brotherhood, not put each other down. My family is mostly veterans, and we will not tolerate putting down a veteran. It doesn't matter if he served in the Marines, the Army. My son served in the Army. And I'm tired of this veterans being put down by other veterans. This is ridiculous. Think of something else to talk about. You know, it just, And it is his First Amendment right to speak like it is mine. And Bob Sherwood would not shut me up. And if he is not taken off that board, I will get an attorney. And I will come back on you guys for not getting him off the board. He had no right saying that to me. You are not supposed to interrupt us, which has been done, and I have proof of that plenty of times. And I will go back to the tapes, and I will show them to an attorney also. Just because the 7 of you set up there and you vote on something, we need the tornado sirens. A lot of you don't agree. Why don't you think about the residents of this town? Quit thinking about yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dave Camber, 1078 Burley. First of all, I don't believe Trustee Pratt was attacking another veteran for being a veteran. He was attacking the Deputy Treasurer's behavior. Has nothing to do with him being a veteran. Strictly addressed his behavior in regards to the township here. So that was relative. I was that other citizen at that court hearing. I'm not anonymous and I'm not a coward. But I believe Trustee Pratt has a good point where the board should look at what that was about. And it does have to do with the township's ability to depend on certain people. So I guess that I would like to disagree with the previous speaker and our deputy treasurer. His behavior is suspect at best. Now, whether he has the township's best interest in mind, we'll see. But his respectful comments are not really very respectful. And the other speaker also tends to exaggerate and not be respectful. I'm tired of hearing it. You guys don't deserve it. There's not a person on this board who is not honest, should I say, in working towards the good of this township. And I'm tired of having you guys get run down every time. Is there disagreement amongst the board members? Yes, rightfully so. Good government, good governance consists of people who have various ideas and then can come to a consensus to make things work. I think our board is beginning to approach that point. I'd like to see it continue. The battery storage ordinance was a good example of that. So, kudos, guys.
Thank you, sir. Please respect everybody's ability to use the podium without comments and disparaging remarks. It'd be appreciated for everybody.
It bothers me that the board member and the previous citizen had to go to a private trial. A trial that the judge ended up siding with Treasurer Bloomfield. So it wasn't frivolous. Are they going to tell you that the judge sided with her? Because that doesn't fit their agenda. Sandy has done more for this township than any of you guys sitting up there. She volunteers her time. She volunteers her money. And all you guys want to do is attack her for what she has done. Why would anybody even want to be on the board? Any one of you want to be on the board. If you're constantly being harassed for anything they say or do, that these two people had to go to that hearing. It didn't involve them personally. And yes, I know that the hearings are public and anybody can go. So if a student wanted to go there because they wanted to see how a trial proceeds, but this did not involve Trustee Pratt personally. It did not involve the other gentleman personally. It was more a form of harassment to try to get more dirt. But guess what? She didn't get it because the judge sided with her. It just blows my mind. I know that all the stuff that's on Facebook is horrible. Things that were said about your family, Mr. Camburn, was wrong. But just as wrong as these two going to that trial. They went up for pure harassment. And I think the judge saw through it when they went for their recall and Mr. Camburn tried to get up and speak for the person that didn't show, which that was that person's right too. They didn't have to show the sponsor. They don't have to show up. When he got up and tried to speak on behalf of the sponsor, the judge shut him down and said, "You'll have your comments at the end of the hearing." So I think everybody needs to look deep inside themselves, inside their own hearts, and see what they're doing to their fellow citizens, your board members, our citizens here. Please, look inside your heart and be, as we say our Pledge of Allegiance, that we're one under God. Remember that. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, ma'am.
There was a comment made earlier about getting a grant for a fire station. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm all about grants. It doesn't exist, though. 2007 was the last time the federal government opened it up, and it was a one and done. And the Grand Rapids issue was on the state budget. It essentially wasn't a grant. So we have tried that same route. We've been unsuccessful. Since losing Chief Switulski on the highway during the line of duty death, we tried several times to get a traffic attenuator trailer through the state budget, which is the same that Grand Rapids got their stations through, and we were unsuccessful. We've tried a fire station, this station, for several years as well. So we've exhausted other options. What I would encourage the board and the community to do is reach out to your area representatives and senators for the state, because those are the ones that'll dictate it. So I think we have a pretty good plan and leverage. I've seen some other funding opportunities go to other communities that weren't as solid. For instance, they didn't have a line of duty death, and we're trying to fix the problem on the highways. So we have tried, we did. Just thought I'd get the good word out. I think it's a great suggestion. I'm all about it, but it was a state budget issue, essentially not a grant. So we've exhausted it, but open to ideas, appreciate it. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Any further citizen comment this evening? If there are no further comments, we'll move along to members' comments. Trustee MacGyver?
No, I really don't have anything to add. Thank you. And thank you for being here, everybody.
Thank you, Trustee MacGyver. Clerk Beauchamp?
I'd just like to touch on some things that were said since we cannot respond during public comment. A couple of things. When we are elected or appointed, we always wear that hat. We are not elected at one moment, unelected at another. We're not appointed at one moment, not appointed at another. Though we have free speech, it does reflect on, what we say does reflect on the roles that we hold, elected or appointed. We can't pick and choose when that happens. So if someone comments that it does reflect on that role, it does. We free speech or not. I agree. Other comments were made about people harassed for anything they say or do. This board understands that more than anyone. We all have been harassed up here, so I agree. Let's all look inside our hearts, board members, community alike, and think about what we say or do, even to the people that we may not agree with, or that we don't like, or that we want to recall, or that we don't want to recall. There's a lot of stuff that happens on Facebook. Most of us are not on Facebook. Most of us are not commenting on Facebook. I understand residents are upset about what happens on there, but it really doesn't have a place in our boardroom. We don't control what happens on there. Both sides have free speech. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Clerk Beauchamp. Trustee Pratt?
Just a couple of items here. Thank you. I do have the judgment that the judge ordered here, but again, I don't think it's appropriate to discuss it until the treasurer returns. But I have the judgment right here, and it's totally different from what I've heard. But I will not read this at this time. I will get the information, the transcripts for the entire trial, and allow other people to look at it, and then we'll discuss it, and we'll have ability to share that with the public. But I have it here, and it doesn't say what you thought it said. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pratt. Trustee Amos?
I would like to comment on the Clark Hill report. There was 3 of us that did not read the Clark Hill report, and I will only comment on my own, not upon theirs. The reason I did not read the report, because what the report was for and what it actually did was 2 different things. And so that's why I did not report it. I did not read it. I didn't waste my time to read a report that was made that was promised about one thing and made up totally different. So, and with that, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, because Christ has come and Christ will come again. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Amos. Trustee Cherry?
Basically, to reiterate what Clerk Beauchamp said, all of us up here are fully aware of what it's like to be attacked, fully aware. And I'm not on Facebook, but I hear about all the stuff being said about me on Facebook, which 99% of it is not true. It's a blatant lie. And if you ever come and ask me and talk to me, I'll tell you it's a lie. So it's really disheartening. Yes, I believe in freedom of speech, but I also believe in kindness and compassion and empathy. And we are struggling here to come together, and it doesn't help with the evil, negative comments constantly being thrown around. It just kind of exacerbates things. So I am grateful for the freedom of speech. I am grateful people come out to these meetings because you need to get more involved. But there does need to be a sensitivity, I suppose, to it, for lack of a better word. So with that, I pray everyone has a wonderful Christmas and celebrates the reason that we celebrate this season. So, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cherry. Appreciate it. So I would like to commend the board. We passed the battery energy storage ordinance, as many of us up here, all together, we voted, we got it done. We took something from 500 feet to 2,000 feet. We took it from $1 million to $6.6 million. We'll be able to get a site plan approved if the Planning Commission works through that. Will be available for potentially up to another $2 million. And then those, those funds can help make our community a better place. And we look at it from a standpoint of a project like that. With Public Act 233, it's kind of hard to, you can't really say no, otherwise it could end up being even worse. And so it's a burden to a degree, but then how can you turn the burden into a public benefit? And then you put all the layers with a good planning commission to really look through that, for them, that planning commission to be able to negotiate on behalf of the fire department, to get the fire department all the things that they would need, to get the community all the things that they would need. I think we have a really good opportunity. It's, in a way, it's a pretty new emerging industry, and we are where we are, and we have to make the best of it. And I think that good negotiations and things like that, to go through the process diligently like we did, that was great. And I think that we can still continue on to make it better from here. I would disagree with some of the stuff that was talked about tonight. I think if we can focus on township business and if the recall and all the stuff, but veering into somebody else's personal life at a township board meeting, I feel like true is totally inappropriate and is not what we are elected to do. We do have freedom of speech if we would like to go out and campaign and promote against those individuals. We have that right, but I don't believe that it is a good use of township time, resources. I believe we're all here to do township business. So I would like to be cognizant of what we do and make sure that we're the ones setting the tone for positivity and productivity and moving things forward. And I'm not sure with something like that, what good would come out of it, especially for the people that we work for on township time. So if there are no further comments, if anybody has anything to say, this meeting's adjourned.
Both are approved.